First of all, to everyone making their own animated feature or TV show independently, you forever earn my respect. But I don't have time for that. So, it's short films. If you're watching this video, you've probably seen at least one. Heck, you may have even tried to make one yourself. Companies use them as tests to train new employees, train out new methods of animation, but they are so much more than that. These short films are amazing. You can find hundreds of hours worth of short films which push the limits of creativity for artists who may not have another way to express themselves, or at the very least for them to share their artistic vision with the world. And what does it take to make one? Well, grit, persistence, dedication, a music playlist, resilience, inspiration, cold heart, vision, passion, time, the animator's survival kit, friends to abandon, podcast, tunnel vision, leading happiness, comfort shows for the night, and the knowledge that you can never, ever, ever give up without feeling like you wasted your time. Oh, and a story. Films really aren't that hard to make. My friends and family are always impressed with the end product, my drawing abilities, and my dashing looks, but it really isn't that hard to make a short film. What it takes is time and persistence. If you are committed, you won't even need to be able to draw, be good at animation. You just need to have a story in your head and the drive to execute it, and you will have a final project. It most likely won't be good, but you will learn something from it, and you will get something from it. You will learn from it. That is the reason I love making short films so much. You put your head down, you get to work, and you'll get something out of it, a final project. Even if it embarrasses you, you have something to show for all the hours of work, all the grueling hours. There is a product. I've made 3 animated short films, with 5 in various stages of development. The 4th one is releasing soon, and I'm so excited to show you all to you. Animation is not only my preferred method of storytelling, but each of the short films acts as a test. My first short, The Father's Journey, was me dipping my toes into animation. It was going the extra level on a school project, also my first real experience animating, being more than just a small test that takes an hour or two. But I used puppet animation, trying to rig, but never drawing new frames, leaving it feeling stiff. That being said, I did draw one scene by hand, and I'm pretty happy with it to this day. My next short film was SPI's, which was my first time really doing hand-drawn animation. Or at least hand-drawn on my Wacom tablet. It was also the first time I had scripted an animation and needed to do lip sync. Just like the previous film, the things I learned, like lip sync and audio-related aspects, weren't executed greatly. But the things that I had already gained experience in, like the animation, perspective backgrounds, and character design, was a huge step up, especially with this project having like 20 named characters, which I think is something that I'm really happy about. My final release short film, which was about trying to make something which felt cinematic and visually impactful, which at the beginning didn't work great, but as I reached the end of the project, which actually these first few scenes, I really achieved my goal, as well as improving my lip sync and overall animation, plus just having a much more vibrant look. I have a canceled animated project called Am I a Hero, which was supposed to help me learn Blender, and while I failed hard, like I discussed in a previous video, I am now much better at Blender. And my upcoming short film, Knock Down the Geezer, is all about me developing a better animation pipeline to have higher quality end products, something which is definitely the case with the animation. Now, I'm someone who wants to make a career out of animation. Since I'm a teen, now is the best time to learn, which gives me extra incentive to get more and more demanding and creative and innovative with each new project. But you don't need to go looking for something new to learn each time, at least not directly looking, because you will just naturally experiment each time. And now to the question of the video. What does it take to make an animated short film? The biggest thing to focus on is an idea. Now, you do need to be careful with your ideas, as to an animator, they can be dangerous. Variables which need to be considered when it comes to your ideas for short films being time and scale. Animation takes a while, so when in the ideation phase, you need to acknowledge that. Your first short film shouldn't be 30 minutes long, nor should it have a bunch of characters, nor should it be too ambitious visually. While I don't believe what a lot of people say that your first short should be under a minute, no dialogue, all that, you can do it if you want, but it shouldn't be too ambitious. Make a project which is too big or has too big a scale or duration, it will just go on forever without the results, and you'll probably just give up on it. Remember what I said earlier, giving up means you lose all the time on a project, and that you will feel even less motivated the next time around. And if you're going to do something super ambitious, take the time and really focus on planning so you know exactly what needs to be done during labor-intensive work that comes around, but still, don't do that till at least your third time, I would say. But now you have your idea, and if there is a dialogue, you can do it all without a script. Though I'd still recommend having one. If you have no knowledge on scripting, you can plot out your story however you want, but at some point, it would be good to learn script writing format. I personally use Scenarist as it's free and it has a lot of great writing tools. Plus, especially for planning out stuff, it is essential because there is so much you can do. Look at all this stuff, and this is for an upcoming project. I'm not crazy. This is completely normal, but it's really useful. The biggest part of the prep phase is going to be character design and determining a visual style. Here, if you haven't already found your inspirations, look at your favorite pieces of visual media, both animated and live action, and look at costumes for animation and different styles. As of late, I've been using a bunch of Pinterest to make designs. Ideally, make a bunch of variations of each character, then mix your favorite elements of each one. Your first design won't be the best, even though you might have a lot of bad designs in the middle. It means it will be better with the final product. If you have time, I would recommend doing a turnaround because it is great for a lot of things. First of all, it lets you judge how easy to animate a character is. For example, the main character of Knockdown the Geezer was really hard to animate when I started doing a turnaround, and then I redesigned it, and now it goes super smooth. Plus, you get to develop a freehand a lot earlier in, before even making the project, which is a really good thing to have because it means you get a more consistent quality in your end project. Now, I tend to do the storyboarding once I have my character designs done, but that really isn't necessary. And with storyboarding, the rule of thumb is that the more boards that you make, the better overall experience you'll have while animating, because you already know how things work. You'll know the framing, the composition, character scale, which backgrounds to make, which ones you can reuse, and all that sort of stuff. With each new project that I make, the script to storyboard ratio changes a lot, more storyboards each time, and animation is easier each time that I do it. And now, turn on a podcast or your favorite album and get to work. Like I've said, I've always used OpenShot for its vast array of features, being a vector-based program, and of course that it's free. This past week, I've been doing a lot of tests in Blender, and I really like it. Again, it's vector, it's free, and there are a lot of cool effects. Why I prefer animating with vectors is just that you can manipulate your drawings a lot more, and that is something really cool. Plus, you can zoom in without seeing pixels, which makes it a lot easier for me animating. Turn on pressure sensitivity, it's all good. This isn't an in-depth guide because, to be honest, it doesn't need to be, because on your first film, even if I explained everything to you, you're not going to make a perfect project because you don't understand what it means. You don't have that experience. So, instead, let's just end it here, because I can still go back and rewatch all my short films and tear them apart because they're not perfect and I'm not perfect. But I learn from each project, and that's the most important part. So, what is the lesson of the story? Respect animators, or else